So now we are talking about like being a good analyst. What do you think should analysts should work on or should have to be like top besides great suits that you have?
Yeah, the suits have become my thing. I love wearing suits, and it's just like it's kind of like I don't know if you felt this way as a player, but I always used to feel like if you look good, you feel good, you're gonna play good. Like it's all part of. It's like my uniform now.
Yeah.
You know, I'd want to have the socks the right way and the right boots and the
Right.
yeah. You want to look in the mirror and feel like I got this. Like I'm gonna be good on TV today. I think the moment that I realized that I could be good on TV was when I realized that if I prepared well and I treated this like a job, which it is now, much like it was with soccer and the way that we practiced and the way that we prepared in training, it all helped you be a better player on the field. And so I think sometimes people get into TV and they don't want to put in the work that is required to help you be good for that 90 minutes that you're going to be on a broadcast or in the studio. And we think that we can kind of wing it. And so I really learned
What would be that word?
yeah, so I have to watch a lot of soccer. And you know, when my wife's upstairs watching the Real Housewives of whatever city and you pick it, she's watched it, or Love Island, I'm downstairs watching MLS on a Saturday, I'm watching Premier League on a Sunday. But then, for example, I'm calling 2 games on Sunday for World Cup qualifiers for Europe. So I'm doing Netherlands. So I'm going to watch probably their last 3 games. I'll watch all their set pieces. I'll go in, then drill down on different players that I think are impact players like Memphis or Xavi Simons or whoever it might be, Virgil van Dijk. Look at some of their, you know, if it's Van Dijk, like how does he attack on a set piece? Where have been some of the big moments he's been key for them in qualifying for so far. So I try to go in with a picture of what I think the game is going to look like. I have all my notes that I do on, you know, the goals and caps that they've had, or is anybody coming up on a big milestone? I'll prepare with my partner, John Strong, on what we're thinking as far as storylines. What's the big stuff he wants to hit? What are the things I want to get to early into a game? Because this is also a partnership as well. It's not just about me. And so there's so much that goes into a broadcast to then when you get actually into the game, you actually only end up using maybe the top 2 to 5% of all the information that you've ingested and prepared with. But then when you're on camera, you only get one chance. It's not like you can stop down and be like, I want to re-say that. Everything you're saying is live. You're in the moment. And then I also think it's like, I don't know if you as a player, I used to watch my games back and look at areas that I could have made a pass or made a run.
Sure.
And so I do that as a broadcaster.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I hated it at the beginning, honestly, like hearing my own voice and like the way I would say stuff, or if I messed something up or if I stumbled on camera. I hated it, but it was like a process I had to go through to be comfortable
by yourself,
with
or there's other
I did it
people
with a
that can
producer a
help?
lot at the beginning, but now I kind of joke with my producers of, I know when I've made a mistake or I know I could do something better, but we still walk back through games together. And even John and I say sometimes younger producers, because we've been doing this for 10 years and we've called some of the biggest games in American and global soccer, they're almost afraid sometimes to give us feedback or say something when we mess up. But actually, we're probably the most coachable. And actually, they say that a lot about athletes. Like athletes, we're coachable. We used to being coached our whole lives. So I'd rather you say, if you don't think I'm doing something well, tell me why, or tell me what I should do. And I do think that's a really good trait for an athlete in general in life, whether you go into business or whatever, is that we're very much team players and we want to be coached and we want to be the best. And like that combination is really what helps you excel.
And I feel like people who haven't been in that position, they may take offense if you go and tell them, hey, you gotta do this better or that. But man, we've been in a lot of locker rooms, a lot of different personalities that they talk shit about. Hey, this pass, or you should be here in front of everybody, whatever it is. And at the end, you end up taking it for the better and for getting better. So I feel we should still keep pushing for that and getting everybody on board, and that can help us be better. Do you think because you used to be a soccer player, players respect you more the way you do broadcasting, the way you commentate the games, and also do you give them a pass when they miss or they fail a pass, or because at the end of the day you've been in that position and you know how hard it is, versus somebody that is commentating that nobody that hasn't been on the field before as a soccer player?
Yeah, I think when you're a former athlete and you've been in the shoes of the players that have played these games, I think it automatically gives you some level of credibility with what you're saying. And that's why ultimately I'm in the position that I'm in. I think my golden rule that I learned pretty early in TV was no matter what I'm going to say on the microphone, on camera, at any given moment, I want to be comfortable saying to somebody's face. And if I can't do that, then I'm a coward, first of all. And then I also don't believe what I'm saying if I'm saying stuff that then I wouldn't be able to say to you. And so I've always tried to approach it in that way. Now, I know that there's been players in the past that haven't liked what I've said. I didn't like what people said about me in those times, but I actually had a former teammate of mine that I lost contact with because he didn't like something that I'd said. And then we had a little bit of a back and forth online at one point. He never reached out to me personally on the side at that time. And then we just didn't talk. And I was noticeably he would kind of avoid me in certain social situations where we'd be maybe in the same social scenes or at games. And I was disappointed by that, but I respected his decision. And he was a friend as a teammate, and we played many, many years together. But again, I respected that he, at that moment, didn't understand where I was coming from, or ultimately this is my job now. But then years later, I give him so much credit. He reached out to me via a mutual friend, got my number again because my number had changed at that point, and called me and said, "Hey, I just want to apologize to you because I didn't like what you said. Here's why I didn't like what you said. But many years later now, I'm older, I'm more mature. I've had perspective that actually what you were saying was fair from your side. I didn't like it because I just was in this zone as a player, and I didn't like what any media would say ever about me. And I want to seek to repair our relationship, and I see you still as a friend." And I just said dude, first of all, you don't need to apologize. I no hard feelings from my side. I never, if you were ever ready to rebuild and repair that relationship, I was here. I really love that you understand this is my job, this is my career. I'm not doing anything personally. I'm paid now to commentate. I try to be fair. And let's grab a coffee and let's hang out and catch up again. And that has been really kind of refreshing to hear.
That's what's the name?
I
mean, now
it's Josie Altidore.
Amazing.
So Josie reached out to me and handled it really maturely, and I don't think he would be mad at all that I told that story, because I feel that is really reflective of just how great of a guy he was. And we talk a ton now and connect, and we see each other at different events. And I've always seen him as I loved him as a player. And, he unfortunately towards the end of his career had some injuries kind of like I did, and was battling through these moments, but he was, man, at his best. Josie was just almost so hard to defend. But I guess just to answer your question fully, I don't ever really know how other players feel about me as a broadcaster, other than I can only judge on how I am received or treated when I'm around. And I like to think sometimes that that's good, but I also know that players still understand that I'm in media and they have to kind of talk to me in certain settings. So I always try to be fair, and I try to put it through the lens of I've been in that situation. I always try to put a positive spin on things. I have to be critical in moments. That's my job. And if I'm not, the audience is this guy's BSing and he's protecting people. So I try to be fair, but I also try to tell the story of what he was trying to do. Nobody's purposely trying to make mistakes on the field, but I could say he's trying to pick out the guy at the back post. He rushed the delivery, and so the ball flew to the goalie, and the goalie's got it, and that's a missed opportunity. And I think that's a fair way of trying to do it.
I like the approach. I like the approach.